What is happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here. It is Millionaire Monday, and we are doing the FastLane this week. Millionaire FastLane Book Club, Part 5, Chapters 16 through 21. Last week we covered the slow lane. The previous week we covered the sidewalk. And we're finally getting into the fast lane. So I've been looking forward to this. Basically, how I'm going to do this video is in two separate sections. I realize some of you guys who are reading the book don't need a play-by-play of the entire book. So for those of you, we're going to start off with just kind of the main points, some of my favorite quotes, etc. from this section of this part. And then for those of you guys who maybe found this video who aren't part of the book club or haven't read the book, I have literally a play-by-play of the entire part 5 with all the chapters, the important points, the fast lane distinctions, etc. So if you haven't read the book, or if you're wanting to hang on for a longer video, you can hang on after the first part of this. Now, before we get started, I wanted to make a couple points. Point number 1, tomorrow I have a really, really good video dropping. Going to be talking about a drop shipping method. I know a lot of you guys are interested in drop shipping. The beauty of this is that this is a drop shipping where you're going to have zero competition. Nobody out there is going to be selling the same product as you guys. So I think this is a pretty cool opportunity to make some money. There's great margins, very low cost to enter this market. The products you're going to be buying are $4. You could potentially mark them up to $20, $30, $40, $50, $60. So huge margins, no competition, really cool method here. So stay tuned for that. Well, anybody can do it. It's kind of especially geared towards photographers and artists. So that's one thing that'll be dropping tomorrow. The other thing I wanted to mention, back when I did the Christmas book giveaway, I gave away 10 books, or I bought 10 books to give away. Only 2 people wound up responding to me and sending their addresses and everything. So I still have like 8 copies left. So for today's book club, I'm going to be giving away 2 copies of Alex Becker's 10 Pillars of Wealth. I'm only going to ship them to people who are in the States. The international shipping is getting kind of crazy. So if you're in the U.S., I'll ship this book to you if you win. Basically, I want to stir up a little bit more discussion in these book clubs. So I have 2 kind of questions for you guys. So drop a comment below. The first is, what are your 3 biggest takeaways from this part or this section of the book? If you had to narrow this down to 3 of the most important points, what would they be? And part 2 of this question is, do you have an example from your own life, or can you think of an example of some of the things discussed in this book? So maybe it's having a liquidation event. You built up some affiliate marketing site that you wound up selling to a company. You know, if there's something in this book that ties into your life and you want to share it, drop a comment below. So whether you want to drop the 3 most important points or a relevant story or example from your life and how it ties into this section of the book, I'd love to have you guys drop a comment in the comment section below. Whoever has the best or most thoughtful one, I'll be sending out 2 free copies of the book. And if you win, I will contact you through YouTube private message or on social media and let you know that you won. I'll grab your address and I'll get a book out to you. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I'm going to be doing a Q&A video sometime in the next week or 2. I'll be making a video dedicated to this, but if you guys want to drop your questions for the Q&A, best question is going to get $100 sent to them, so via PayPal. So just a couple announcements before we get into this, but let's get started. So part 5, chapter 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Covered a lot of material here. Here are what I thought were the most important points. So number 1, you can get rich fast, but fast is relative. If you're 18, you can be filthy rich by 24. If you're broke at 48, you can retire by 54. So when you talk about get rich fast, we're not talking about get rich in 5 days. We're talking about get rich in 5 years as opposed to 40 years. I thought that was kind of an important distinction. Self-employment and entrepreneurship are the centrist to the fast lane. A job, which stands for just over broke. That's actually not MJ DeMarco's quote. I think King Human says that a lot if any of you guys follow him. But a job is a track to the slow lane, basically. And later I think in chapter 20 or 21, he talks more about this. But basically, when you have a company, as your company's revenues grow, not only are you making more money personally, but the value of the company is growing. So not only are you increasing, your income, you're also setting yourself up for a liquidation event where you can make a large sum of money very quickly because the value of the company is growing. The fast lane is about creating large sums of wealth rapidly, which can really only be done in self-employment and/or entrepreneurship, not really a job. Fast lane isn't for everybody. The fast lane leads to freedom. Make something from nothing, an online store, a digital product, etc. So, let's say that you're really good at woodworking, and there's people out there who want to know woodworking. So you start making some YouTube videos, teaching people a few lessons here and there. But then if they want the entire course, they're going to have to pay you $47 for your video course and ebook. People out there who enjoy your videos, who learn things from your videos, are also going to want to pay money for more info or for all the little tips. And essentially, just with this knowledge in your head, essentially, nothing tangible, you create a product and potentially even a company. So I thought that was kind of a good example. Let's see. The more people I help, the richer I become in time, money, and fulfillment. And really, business is about creating value. If you can add value to somebody else's life, they're going to be willing to pay you for it. And I have a great video coming out in the next couple of days talking about affiliate marketing and kind of a different way to look at affiliate marketing. So that's going to kind of tie in there. Passive income, passive income, passive income. If you didn't notice it when you were reading pretty much this entire chapter, and the fast lane in general is about creating passive income. A behavior of people in the fast lane: I'm in control of my life. I'm responsible for where I am. You're not relying on a boss or the government or a company or anybody else to give you a raise. You're going to create value yourself and make money yourself. My dreams are worth pursuing regardless of how outlandish. So a lot of people, shoot down new entrepreneurs. Oh, that idea is crazy, etc. But you got to have the gall to kind of follow your dreams. Get rich quick is an abused phrase. I really, really like this point. Get rich quick is an abused phrase. We all think it's a scam because it's so abused. Get rich easy, or I'm sorry, I should have said get rich easy is an abused phrase. Actually, I take that back. Get rich quick. A lot of people who talk about get rich quick are actually talking about get rich easy. They're actually very two different things. You can get rich quick, but it's not going to be easy. And one thing I thought was interesting, a lot of the online gurus, people selling courses, etc., they want to make it seem easy. Why? Because a lot more people are going to buy a course that tells you how to make $5,000 a day in 5 days, as opposed to somebody who's selling a course on, if you work hard and follow these tips for 5 years, you're going to be rich. So it's easy to sell the easy dream. That's why get rich quick has been abused. I've talked before about how I used to work in a call center that sold the Rich Dad course as well as Carlton Sheets' No Money Down Real Estate program. I do think the Rich Dad Poor Dad is worthwhile, but this Carlton Sheets program was just straight garbage. And it was actually really sad kind of hearing some people call up and basically buy into the get rich easy dream because you knew it wasn't going to happen. There was a really important story from this part. It was the story about the Egyptian pyramids. Basically, two brothers were tasked with building a pyramid. Now, one brother just right out the bat started lifting stones and building the pyramid. And right off the bat, it seemed like he was making a lot more progress than the other brother, who was kind of tinkering with little inventions and things like that. And the brother who just started building was kind of looking down on the other brother, like, this idiot's making no progress. He's not listening to the pharaoh, etc. But 3 years in, when the brother who started building basically hit a roadblock, the brother who had the invention wound up flying past him. The brother who took the time to build a process that would work for him, or an invention that would work for him, wound up completing his pyramid just 5 years after building the invention, so 8 years total. He wound up living a rich and healthy life and wound up being buried next to the pharaoh in the pyramid, whereas the other brother wound up dying before his pyramid was even completed. So basically, I guess the moral of the story here is sometimes creating processes may seem slower or more labor intensive than just getting right to the job. But in the long run, having processes and building something that's going to work for you is going to put you ahead of the person who just, puts their head down and drives along. The fast lane is a business system. The slow lane is a job. Break free from consumption. Switch sides and become a producer instead of a consumer. And I have kind of a funny story about this. So as an e-commerce person, as a wholesaler, I have a hard time paying retail price for anything because I'm always looking for different products and I know what things sell for wholesale. So if I go to a cell phone shop to buy some cell phone accessory that they're selling for $40, I know that really costs them 50 cents or $1 on AliExpress, and I have a hard time buying it. I went into a small little, corner store cell phone shop type deal the other day, and I needed to buy something, and I think the guy wanted $25 for it. I knew that I could buy them on AliExpress for like $1.50. Obviously, on AliExpress, it's going to take 3 weeks to get to me, and I didn't want to wait. But I wasn't going to pay 25 bucks. So I was like, I asked the guy about it. He told me the price. I was like, no thanks. He said, well, what are you willing to pay? And I told him, I said, look, man, I said, I know, I know I can go get this off AliExpress for like 75 cents. And he said, well, what will you pay? And I said, well, how about like $8? So he's going to be making like more than 8 times his money back. And he was like, no. So it wasn't worth it for him. But, this story just kind of illustrates to me, once you start becoming a producer instead of a consumer, you kind of realize what suckers the rest of the world are. And just kind of another funny story about clever marketing. My girlfriend falls for like any type of little clever marketing. So a few weeks back, we were looking for a humidifier for my new house because it's kind of dry in here. And there were two humidifiers, essentially the same thing. One had clever marketing on the box. Both of them had filters, but the ones like our microfiber filter cuts out bacteria and does this, that, and the other. Now, essentially, they're the same product. My girlfriend wanted to buy the one that was 3 times the cost of the one without the clever marketing. And I was like, look, they both have that. Well, this one, the box says that it fights microbial bacteria. And I've talked about other examples of this before. I talked about how I was at Tiger Direct or CompUSA, whatever it is, buying a HDMI cable, and one came in a clear plastic bag, but it was gold tipped and everything. The other one came in some fancier cardboard packaging, and talked about how like the gold tips help transmit data this fast, and what a great picture. And at the end of the day, an HDMI cable is an HDMI cable. If you bought the more expensive one, you were just buying into the clever marketing basically and paying for the packaging. Let's see, being rich starts with a producer mindset. Passive income is a huge focus. Put in time up front and get paid 10 years after the initial effort. Unlock yourself from the handcuffs of time. And MJ DeMarco gave a quick example with his book, like, look, it took me 1,000 hours and less than $1,000 to write this book. If I make this many copies, I'm earning $500 an hour. Even if 10 years from now, when book sales and this book kind of start to become a thing of the past or fizzle out, if I sell one copy, that's essentially free money for time that I put in 10 years ago. Starting a company, starting something from nothing, not only creates value, the more profitable the company becomes. Not only do you make more money personally, but the company itself becomes more valuable and makes you wealthier in assets and income. And that's when you can have your liquidation event and make a large lump sum of money fast. And then lastly, creating a job versus creating a business and a system. Well, there's nothing wrong with creating a job for yourself. You are your own boss doing something you enjoy. At the end of the day, some businesses you create are essentially just creating a job. MJ DeMarco gave the example of selling hot dogs at the hardware store. There are only so many potential customers out there at the hardware store. Another example might be like landscaping or mowing lawns. Well, I suppose these businesses could be scaled. They're going to be really difficult to scale. So when you start a business, kind of keep the end in sight. Is it something that's scalable? And then also, is it something that you can sell down the road? So if you're starting a business that requires you to run it, and it's not something that can easily be passed off to somebody else, you've essentially created yourself a job. However, if you create a business with processes that you can either hire somebody to follow and or sell to somebody else that they can kind of turnkey take over, that's a lot more valuable. So just kind of a quick point there. When you are starting a business, whether you plan on selling that business or not, when you're setting it up, kind of treat it in a way that, could I pass this off to somebody else? Could I take a vacation for a month and have somebody else run this for me, and set it up in a way that will allow you to do so? Okay, guys, so that concludes part 1 of week 5, part 5 of the Millionaire FastLane book club. Here in part 2, I basically have a synopsis of the entire chapter 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So for those of you guys who want to hang out and stick around with me a little bit more, you're more than welcome to. For those of you who haven't read the book and really want to hear the entire chapter point by point, this is for you guys. So chapter 16, Wealth Shortcut, the Fast Lane. Here's a Jim Rohn quote: people would do better if they knew better. So chapter summary, Fast Lane distinctions. The risk profile of a fast lane strategy is much different from the slow lane, but the rewards are far greater. The fast lane roadmap is an alternative financial strategy predicated on controllable, unlimited leverage. The FastLane roadmap is predisposed to wealth. The FastLane roadmap is capable of generating get-rich-quick results, not to be confused with get-rich-easy. Chapter 17, Switch Teams and Playbooks. A man wrapped up in himself makes a very small bundle. Benjamin Franklin. Chapter 17, Quotes and Highlights. From the day you were born, you were baptized to play for Team Consumer. The Barbie doll, the Tonka truck, to the Star Wars action figures. You've been conditioned to demand, to want products, to need products, to buy products, and of course, to seek out the cheapest of those products. Become a producer first and a consumer second. Applied, this means instead of buying products on TV, sell products. Instead of digging for gold, sell shovels. Instead of taking a class, offer a class. Instead of borrowing money, lend it. Instead of taking a job, hire for jobs. Instead of taking a mortgage, hold a mortgage. Break free from consumption, switch sides, and reorient to the world as a producer. Consumers seek producers. Consumers are the majority who demand their fill. To switch teams and become a producer, you need to be an entrepreneur and an innovator. You need to be a visionary and a creator. You need to give birth to the business and offer the world value. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. Producers are indigenous to the FastLane roadmap. Producers are the minority, as are the rich, while consumers are the majority, as are the poor. When you succeed as a producer, you can consume anything you want. FastLaners are producers, entrepreneurs, innovators, visionaries, and creators. A business does not make a fast lane. Some businesses are jobs in disguise, and he gives the example of the hot dog salesman, right? Fast lane wealth equation is not bound by time, and I think I forgot to put something there. Chapter 18, How the Rich Really Get Rich. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Chapter summary, fast lane distinctions. The key to the fast lane wealth equation is to have a high speed limit or an unlimited range of values for units sold. This creates leverage. The market for your product or service determines your upper limit. So in this chapter, MJ DeMarco talks about how his book caters to people who want to get rich, want to be financially secure, want to be wealthy, essentially everybody across the world, right? Whereas the example of the guy with the hot dog stand, the only people he can really sell to are people coming out of the hardware store. The higher your speed limit, the higher your income potential. The primary wealth accelerant for the rich is asset value, defined as appreciable assets created, founded, or bought. Wealth creation via asset value is accelerated by each industry's average multiplier. For every dollar in net income realized, the asset value multiplies by a factor of the multiple. So in this chapter, he kind of gave an example of some different industries and what their multiples are. I think pharmaceuticals was like 17 times, whereas like an e-commerce store, I think was 2 or 3 times. But he went through a whole variety of examples there. Your industry of specialization will determine the average multiple, what determines your wealth accelerant factor. If the multiple is 3, your wealth accelerant factor is 300%. Liquidation events transform appreciated assets, paper net worth, into real money, real net worth that can be transformed into another passive income stream, a money system. So just to give you guys kind of an example of this, let's say that I create an e-commerce business that makes $100,000 a year. Now, let's say the multiple of an e-commerce business is 3. That means my wealth accelerant factor is 300%. So not only as my e-commerce business grows is my income growing, but should I decide to sell that e-commerce business, my multiple factor is probably 3, which means I can sell that business for $300,000. It'll take the new buyer 3 years to make that money back. But basically what I'm getting is what they call blue sky money, which is my time, effort, ingenuity, etc., put into creating that business that somebody else can take over. And for that, I'm going to get $300,000, we'll say, at the time of sale. Obviously, anything is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. Chapter 9, Divorce Wealth from Time. Time is a coin of your life. It is the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful lest you let other people spend it for you. Carl Sandburg. Chapter 19, Quotes and Highlights. Money trees are business systems that survive on their own. They require periodic support and nurturing, but survive on their own. creating a surrogate for your time for money trade. Too many people plant businesses in barren, infertile soil that is incapable of spawning money trees and which is only suitable for a scrawny, slow-lane twig that sucks up time and money. And that's kind of creating a job instead of a business or a system. What sets the internet apart from real estate is it explicitly contains leverage. When you own a website, you're accessible to millions. When you own a 3-bedroom home on Elm Street, it's accessible to a few. The duality makes internet systems one of the best business seedlings in existence. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. To divorce yourself from the slow lane's transactional relationship of time for money, you need to become a producer, specifically a business owner. Business systems break the bond between your time for money because they act like surrogate operatives for your time trade. If you have a passive income that exceeds all your needs and lifestyle expenses, including taxes, you're retired. Retirement can happen at any age. The fruit of a money tree is passive income. A FastLane objective is to create a business system that survives time, exclusive of your time. The 5 money tree seedlings are rental systems, computer systems, content systems, distribution systems, and human resource systems. Real estate, licenses, and patents are examples of rental systems. Internet and software businesses are examples of computer systems. Authoring, books, blogging, magazines, etc. are forms of content systems. Franchising, chaining, network marketing, and television marketing are examples of distribution systems. Human resource systems can add or subtract to passivity. Human resource systems are I think I forgot to put something there too. Chapter 20, recruit your army of freedom fighters. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:17. Chapter 20, quotes and highlights. The middle class use compound interest to get wealthy, while fastlaners, the rich, use it to create income and liquidity. Compound interest pays my bills, but it's my tool. It's my passive income source, yet compound interest is not responsible for my wealth. This is critical. Fastlaners aren't using compound interest to build wealth because it's not in their wealth equation. The heavy lifting of wealth creation is left to their FastLane business. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. 1 saved dollar is a seed to a money tree. A mere 5% interest on $10 million is $40,000 a month in passive income. A saved dollar is the best passive income instrument. Fastlaners, i.e. the rich, don't use compound interest or markets to get wealthy, but to create income and preserve liquidity. A dollar saved is a freedom fighter added to your army. The rich leverage compound interest at its crest, applied against large sums of money. Fastlaners eventually become net lenders. Chapter 21, the real law of wealth. Try not to become a man of success, but a man of value. Albert Einstein. And basically, I think that's a really important quote, because if you create value, you will become a man of success. If you're going after success, you oftentimes are so hung up on yourself and making money that you forget that ultimately you need to create value for others. Chapter 21, quotes and highlights. The law of affection states that the more lives you affect in an entity you control, in scale or magnitude, the richer you will become. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. The law of affection states that the more lives you affect or breach, both in scale or magnitude, the richer you will become. Scale translates to units sold of our profitable variable within the FastLane wealth equation. Magnitude translates to unit profit of our profit unit within our FastLane wealth equation. The law of attraction is not a law, but a theory. The law of affection is an absolute and operates exclusive of a roadmap. All lineages of self-made wealth trace back to the law of affection. The law of affection's absoluteness comes from the direct access and control. You are the athlete versus the indirect. You are the athlete's agent. To make millions, you must serve millions in scale or a few in magnitude. So that is it, guys. Let's wrap it up here. So I actually blew through that quicker than I thought. So this week, week 5, we touched on part 5, which is all about the FastLane. We covered chapters 16 through 21. I kind of talked about my favorite points, as well as kind of did a synopsis of chapter 16 through 21. Like I said at the beginning of this video, for those of you guys who want to win a copy of Alex Becker's 10 Pillars of Wealth, feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know what your 3 biggest takeaways from this chapter or this section were. And furthermore, if you have an example from your own life or somebody you know, or even some business in general that ties into some of the teaching of this chapter, again, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. The best or most thoughtful comment, actually I say the 2 best or most thoughtful comments will get a free copy of the book. I'll hit you up if you win. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this section. Like I said, I got a great video dropping tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Drop your comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will see you guys tomorrow.